Miner was a wonderful photographer and teacher. During his lifetime, he had thousands of students, and I was just thinking he first came to Portland to photograph for the WPA.
He was living in the YMCA. They had a darkroom there. They had a little camera club down there.
After he left Portland and got out of the service, and then he eventually went to Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
The Fine Arts Committee that the Oregon Centennial Commission set up was supposed to start in the fall of 1959. My job was to help line up a program in photography. We didn't have much time. So we picked up the phone and called Miner White. He answered, "You want to come back out to Portland for some workshops and festivities?" And he said, "Sure." People wanted to stay in touch with Miner. In the interim, we created a workshop. We sent prints back to Miner. He would make a tape commentary and send everything back, and we'd play the tape and show the prints.
I first went to the Art Museum School to take a photography class, and he was a teacher. I took a look into Miner's eyes, and they were ice blue eyes, and I just could see that there were doors opening there for me. The first couple of years I photographed, I was taking pictures like I thought Miner would like me to take them. And they were mostly abstract landscape things, and my own voice was beginning to show. I remember taking some things that maybe they had never seen. Pictures of people, different sorts of people. I just felt intimidated and like they felt I was sort of a nerd or something.
Women had a new and wonderful place in this early 60s society, and Cherie was there.
Ruth Bernhard was another photographer who was brought to Portland for workshops. She was very well known for photographing the female nude.
There were very few women photographers in 1960. And by contrast today, where there is no difference between men and women in photography.
Ruth would start her workshops by saying, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life, and what I suggest you do is say yes to everything." Imogen Cunningham was a teacher at the Portland Art Museum as well. Imogen photographed the first male nude that was ever shown in the Museum of Modern Art, and that was shown in 1922. She always called me that girl with the white lipstick. One time in San Francisco, it must have been in the late 60s or early 70s, Heineken and Jack Wellpot, Judy Dater and I were carousing around San Francisco, and we were invited to Imogen's for dinner. She cooked up a big spread, and she had a big glass jar of marijuana to the right of the stove, and she kept taking the lid off and getting handfuls and first she threw it in the salad, and then she threw it in the soup, and then whatever else she was cooking. And so I was kind of surprised about that, but we didn't want to offend her, so of course we ate the food. What I remember most about Imogen was her comment about the photograph that Judy Dater took of me in '71. Imogen really didn't like it. She thought it was demeaning to women, and I didn't really have any thoughts about that picture at all until just last January when the show was hung I said, oh, this won't bother me, and you can curate it. And she put these images up that other well-known photographers had taken of me. And I got very emotional about it all. I hadn't felt that before. I kind of haven't been the same since. And I think it's about growing old gracefully or something.
We are now very lucky to have lived through and lived into a time where people are respecting photography the same way they would have respected paintings 50 years ago.
There are many, many galleries here now. The Camera Work Gallery, which is one of the oldest galleries, maybe the oldest in Portland.
You can see international photography, you can see local photography, you can see photography shows that are brought in, and we have remarkable experience every 2 years of having Photo Lucida, which brings many photographers and many photography critics, curators, or gallery owners, or people who write about photography here to Portland to look at portfolios. The Portland Art Museum is the 7th oldest museum in the country. Having a dedicated space to photography gives Portland a very special role in the history of photography. The first time I ever saw a photograph of Cherie's was when I was a docent in training at the Art Museum. There was a remarkable photograph of a woman who was tattooed all over. I used to walk in that room saying, I love that photograph. I would love that photograph in my house. I can't imagine who took that photograph. And now the person who took that photograph is very much, coincidentally, one of my dear friends. She has consistently been a wonderful teacher and a wonderful encourager of other people. She has this expansiveness of being able to understand and move from one group to the other. I think all of us are here to celebrate her life because she is such a truly remarkable human being, and second, a really, really fine photographer.